Hi, Anita recap here. At the start of story, we see three friends named Daniel, Alicia, and Chris, and a photographer, Davey. Actually, Alicia is Daniel's girlfriend and Chris is Daniel's best friend. Those three comes in Georgian jungle for camping. Davey is clicking their pictures and tells everyone to stand near the bushes so he can take a photo of the three of them together. All three of them stand there following his guide. But then Davey sees from the camera that something is under Chris's foot. He tells Chris to not move, saying something is under Chris' foot. Daniel checks there. He comes to know that it is a landmine, and if Chris moves even a little bit of his foot, it will explode. Hearing this, everyone gets scared. Then Davey tells them all to keep calm and says he's going to get help from police, but it may take 4 to 5 hours, and for safety's sake, no one should be around Chris. Daniel then sends Davey to get help, and he stays by Chris' side. Then Alicia becomes very scared of all this. To calm her down, Daniel takes Alicia far away from Chris, and luckily his phone gets a signal, and then he calls for help. His call also gets connected. Daniel tells them to send a bomb expert for help. Then he tells Alicia that they are refusing to help us because of you. Alicia does not understand his point. Then Daniel says that he is saying that we do not help prostitutes. Saying this, Daniel goes back to Chris. He knows that Alicia is cheating on him with his best friend Chris. Alicia tells Daniel that I was about to tell you everything before marriage, so please forgive me and call the police for help. Daniel says that there is no mobile signal here. I was fooling you. And when he learned about Alicia and Chris' affair, he planned this trip to take revenge on both of them. And he and Davey planted the mine here so that he could kill both of them. Now Daniel goes to bushes and bring a spade. He tells Alicia now you are Chris' last hope of survival, and you can save him by digging a deep pit here. And he's leaving them alone in jungle. Alicia tries hard to stop him, but he does not care and leaves. Davey is waiting for him ahead. And as soon as Daniel arrives, they both leave. But while going back to the Chris, Alicia starts digging the pit so she can save him after some hours. A hunter comes there with his dog and sees Alicia and Chris. His dog tries to attack Chris, but Alicia stops him. After that, the hunter points a gun at both of them. Alicia tries to convince him that my friend's foot is on a landmine. But the hunter thinks that these people are murderers and they have killed and buried someone here. Alicia tells him his friend's foot is on mine. Can you help me dig up it here? Then he agrees to help. The hunter's name is Ilya. Ilya says, what will I get by helping you guys? Now Alicia says that you can take all my stuff instead. He is overjoyed to hear this and rushes to check her back, in which he finds an undergarment. Now he tells Alicia that I want the undergarment you are wearing. And by saying this, he starts harassing Alicia. Seeing this, Chris tells him to stop and give him $300 in his credit card. Then Ilya says that I do not want money, and if she do not give me her undergarments, then I will leave from here. So Alicia is forced to give her undergarments to him. And when Alicia starts going to the tent to remove the undergarments, he stops her and says that you will have to remove them right here in front of me. Alicia has only one way to get help, so she takes off her undergarment and gives it to him, after which he starts digging up it to help her. But then there is the sound of a radio in his back, which turns out to be his radio phone. Seeing this, Alicia requests to use his radio phone so that she can call someone here for help. But again he says, what will I get by giving you the phone? Alicia requests a lot from him. But then he throws her undergarment away and says that you will have to come to me like a dog holding you undergarments in your mouth. Hearing this, Alicia refuses him and starts digging again, but soon realizes she can't dig up it without help. So she crawl like a dog and give Ilya her undergarment, after which he gives her the radio to use. Alicia calls the emergency number, but the officer in call doesn't know the English language. That's why she is unable to explain anything to him. Then she asks Ilya to call for help for us in Georgian, in which he says that he will call for help for you, but first you have to be undressed yourself. Hearing this, Alicia tells him to leave. But now the officer was repeatedly asking for answers on the radio. So Ilya tells Alicia to reply that we are absolutely fine. If she does not do this, a police case may be filed on him. So Ilya forces her to say so, but Alicia does not know Georgian. So Ilya says that I will translate for you, but for this you will have to keep taking off your clothes one by one until police officer is satisfied with your answer. That's why Alicia has to take off her top for the first answer. After this, officers stop asking questions. That's why, according to the deal, Ilya starts leaving from there, but only then officers speak on the radio once again. That's why Ilya comes running back. Alicia is being scared and she requests him that he should leave her. But Ilya takes her at gunpoint. Chris abuses Ilya, and Ilya goes to him in rage, taking as a chance Alicia runs away from there. Ilya throws his gun on ground and with his dog he goes after her. Here, with the help of Chain, Chris takes Ilya's gun. By then, Ilya also comes there while taking Alicia hostage. Meanwhile, Chris points gun on Ilya and asks him to leave Alicia. Ilya says, "If you shoot me, Alicia will die too." He then takes Alicia behind the rock and start clapping her badly. Chris can't shoot even if he wants to because his aim isn't that good. After this, just as he is about to shoot at Ilya, his dog attacks Chris and knocks him into a ditch. Later, when Chris regains consciousness, he learns that he accidentally shot Alicia and she has been killed. Then Ilya told him that the mine was fake and he leaves from there. Sometime later, Chris arrives at a local's house. A woman and her daughter come out and he asks if they have a map. The girl says she can print a map on her computer. Chris goes around the house and up the stairs, where he is greeted by the girl and her mother, who introduce themselves as Lika and Tanya. Meanwhile, Ilya is tending to his bees on the other side of the property. They invite Chris inside their home as they give him the map. Tanya offers him for lunch, so Chris accepts their offer. Then he is escorted inside the dining room, where he sits at the table. After finishing work, Ilya returned to his home. He's shocked seeing Chris with his wife and daughter. Ilya then tells him to leave, but Chris refuses, saying he will eat lunch first. Ilya don't want to act suspicious in front of his wife and daughter, so he tells Chris he can eat. Chris starts eating and finishes his meal. After that, Ilya takes Chris out of his house and rushes to get his gun, but bullets are missing. Chris starts smiling at him, and then Chris pulls out his gun and shoots Ilya on both kneecaps. Tanya hears the commotion and sees her husband on the ground. He tells Tanya to get Ilya inside and for Lika to help her mother. They put Ilya on a sofa and Chris tells Tanya to stand in the corner. He also orders Lika to tie Tanya by her hands and feet. Sadly, Lika sobs as she ties her mother up. Chris shows Ilya underwear and asks him who it belongs to. Lika says it's hers, while Ilya keeps begging Chris to forgive him, saying he only did that to Alicia because he was drunk. Unsatisfied, Chris grabs Lika and starts taking off her underwear. Then he throws it and orders Lika to bring it to him like a dog. With no other choice, Lika crawls to it and hands it to Chris. Chris goes to Ilya and shoves it inside his mouth, making him taste it. Chris tells them they are going to play a game. Chris takes Lika and says they are going to play roulette. He removes all the bullets from his revolver and leaves one. Chris says he will spin the cylinder, she will take off a piece of her clothing. He spins the cylinder and shoots in an empty chamber, which means Lika has to take off a piece of her clothing. Ilya begs Chris to spare his daughter and focus his anger on him, but he refuses. Ilya then crawls on the floor to save his daughter. Chris keeps spinning the cylinder and demanding Lika to remove her clothes. Lika starts taking off her clothes and Chris once again spins the cylinder. Unfortunately, he shoots Lika in the head, killing her instantly, Tanya and Ilya in despair as their daughter dies before their eyes. Chris then backs up to a corner and sits by himself, bearing a face showing great sadness and regret.